Ah, yes. That's right. That's kind of nice. It's that familiar feeling. Bears fans know it. They understand it. There's something almost soothing and comfortable about it. Like when the wife says she's got something for you tonight, you're expecting a big surprise of like, and then you found out she just ordered Chinese. And then you ate Chinese, rolled over, went to sleep. Something almost calming and soothing. Obviously disappointing, but you've come to just kind of accept your plight in life. And as a Bears fan, what else is there really? The McCaskey must for this organization, emanating from this organization, is so strong. That combination of smells of cold cuts, Polish sausage, some fat asses in Chicago, a tinge of body odor, and of course, the yearly beatdowns of the Chicago Bears joke show by Aaron Rodgers, their daddy, and the Green Bay Packers. Bears football! Bears football! This is Bears football. It's really nice, too, late in the game that Aaron Rodgers was very polite and kind in reminding everybody that he still owns you. Yes, and I can envision it and picture it now. Bears fans taking to their email machines and trying to let the NFL League of Office know that that was insulting. That was uncalled for. Trying to cancel Aaron Rodgers, saying he made a reference to slavery and that's racist. But of course, since the Chicago Bears fan base doesn't know anything about being on the offensive or about offense in general, they'll send it to the fucking NHL and all get lost. And Aaron Rodgers will be back in Lambeau later in the season to kick this team's ass the second go round. Bears football. Matt Nagy, now 1-6 against the Green Bay Packers. Bears football. The Chicago Bears on offense scored a whopping 14 points today. Bears football. Saw an interesting stat. I believe it was from Jason Leeser. I can't remember if it was him or somebody else on Twitter shortly after the game. That Matt Nagy has now coached the Bears for like 56 games, including the playoffs. This is the 27th time that a Matt Nagy coach team has scored 20 or less points on offense. Bears football! They stay close for a little while, even give you a glimmer of hope. But you know, deep down inside, there's that inevitable feeling of doom, of Bears football. You try to overhype that defense and talk about how great they are. And even though Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a particularly fantastic day, he threw for under 200 yards passing. And even though Devontae Adams didn't exactly light them up, he did have like 4 catches for 89 yards. But, you know, relatively speaking, it's not a big day. It's still, when shit came to get, the Bears didn't make the big stops on defense, which only made the problems worse because of the pathetic-ass performance of the offense. Once again, Bears football! Now, of course, you're going to have those Bears fans that want to bitch about the referees and complain about calls that were missed, calls that were made, and all of that shit. And absolutely, the officiating was an abomination, an abortion against the game itself, against the league, against the fans, the players, coaches, organizations, everybody. And yet everybody is fucking dealing with that. So stop being losers, whining and pissing and moaning about the shit you can't control. Everybody else has got to deal with just as well as you do. Play better and you don't have to worry about that shit. Bears football. Doesn't matter if it's Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. Every year they come in and it seems like they get the win. Bears football. But a lot of you surely were hoping that this year was going to be different, that this time would be different. Here are the Bears with the exciting rookie quarterback Justin Fields. And they've won 2 consecutive games. They're sitting at 500 right now or whatever the fuck. Or no, excuse me, 3-2. Got a chance to go 4-2 here against Green Bay, team that hasn't been that great. Missed a shit ton of field goals last week against Cincinnati. Damn near didn't win that game. It's at home. Like you think that the Bears actually will take care of their home field advantage for this game? Bears football! And then you see that the Bears defer, give the Packers the ball first, a courageous strategy facing Aaron Rodgers. The offense immediately for Green Bay marches down the field quite a bit, and you're like, oh, there's that familiar feeling of daddy's taking us to fucking Pound Town. But yet, and still, the defense gets after Aaron Rodgers, stops that first drive. Wouldn't you know it? The Bears get the ball back on offense and march down the field and put it into the end zone. Like, that's legal. You can actually do that. Did you know that? I didn't. Because again, what the fuck would I know? I'm a Bears fan. I don't know anything about offense. And neither do you. And all of a sudden you turn around and you look and say, holy shit, that's what a professional NFL offense is supposed to look like in Chicago? You mean it is actually under the law allowable to score a touchdown in the first drive, in the first quarter against the Green Bay Packers and have a lead on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers? Who the hell would have known that this was a possibility? Who the hell would have known that this is a thing? So you got your hopes up, didn't you? You were hoping. You said that maybe this time it's different. Maybe this time Bill Lazor could be the play-calling savant and guru that Matt Nagy, the numbskull, has proven that he can't be. Maybe this time with Justin Fields, a more dynamic option at the quarterback position, they're going to hit more big plays in the passing game. They're going to continue to run the ball well, even if it's just Khalil Herbert in the backfield. He's a fucking stud. Another late-round steal for the Wonder Kid, General Manager Ryan Pace. And you're thinking to yourself, they're going to do it this time, by God, they're going to do it. And then you remembered you're watching Bears football. Think about this. Matt Nagy is 1-6 against the Green Bay Packers. Fire Matt Nagy into the fucking sun and doing it now. The hell else do you need to see out of this asshole? And for those nincompoops that are going to sit there and try and make some defenses for Ryan Pace, he drafts some good guys in the later rounds, and he gets the most important decisions fucking wrong. In 6 years. 6 goddamn years. 2 playoff appearances, no playoff wins. He doesn't even hold the candle to Ayatollah Angelo, yet you guys still defend him. He's the one that fired Matt Nagy. Fire Ryan Pace into the fucking sun, too. I don't give a shit. Come up with something, guys. Try to get them canceled. Do whatever. Try to sit there and tell the league that Ted Phillips is sending baloney pony pictures to 18-year-old boys. Send pictures to the league that say there's some shenanigans and funny business going on between Ryan Pace and the Crypt Keeper Virginia, and they have compromising photos together. Drum up some old Matt Nagy emails with some transphobic, misogynistic shit, because the racist shit alone won't get it done. That's what you gotta do. Of course, though, again, because you're a Bears fan, you wouldn't know anything about offense, you'll fucking send the email to the wrong place. You'll send it to the NHL, you'll send it somewhere else, and we're stuck in this fucking quagmire. You got, 11 more games of this bullshit? Do we really need to see 11 more games of this bullshit? The Green Bay Packers are the standard bearer in this division, and yet the Bears, year after year after year after year after year, can't figure out a way to beat this fucking team. It's sickening. What else was sickening today? The fact, obviously, that the Bears had an early lead, and then the offense shit the fucking bed. Justin Fields looked bad. Like, don't make any excuses for it. A rookie's going to have some bad games, and this is certainly one of them. Another game under 200 yards passing, looking lost at times, some bad decisions. I'll defend all day the interception that he threw on the deep ball, because that felt like that should have been a flag. I'm with him. I'm okay with taking some of those shots. But like late in the game, not only the play call to sit there and say, hey, Justin Fields, I'm going to put you in a spot where you can potentially get sacked instead of just maybe gaining a couple yards, trying to kick a field goal. It's still a one-score game. Then he rolls out and gets sacked at like 48-yard line, and game is fucking over at that point. Like, even when you saw the touchdown pass to Darnell Mooney, like, you'd have liked to see him get rid of it quicker, but he was almost stunned, I think, by the fact that Darnell Mooney was that goddamn wide open. He didn't believe it. Bears football. Another week, more unnecessary penalties. You can piss and bitch and moan about them, but you have to understand the way the game is called and the way a game is played. Don't put yourself in that position. Like the Mario Edwards one, I don't give a fuck if Aaron Rodgers grabbed the face mask. Yeah, it should be a fucking flag. But it doesn't mean that Edwards needs to respond like a dumbass, knowing that they're watching for this shit. Another week, another idiotic penalty. Fire him into the fucking sun and release his ass. Send a goddamn message to the locker room. And if you were going to pick up personal fouls in this game, how about you do it when the Green Bay Packers get multiple good, unclean shots in on your rookie leader, Justin Fields? The first one where he kind of gets ragdoll on the Packers sideline. That's the time where the offensive line needs to go in and say, not in our fucking house, bitches. We're going to cheese grate your ass. If players get suspended, they get ejected, so fucking be it. At some point in time, you have to take a stand. Because when you don't, what happens? Later in the game, a little bit later, Justin Fields goes for a hook slide. Darnell Savage basically with the targeting shot straight to his fucking head. Lucky that Justin Fields was able to finish the rest of the fucking game. Because why? Because the Packers had no fear of consequences. Because this is not a rivalry game. In a rivalry game, that shit would have led to a whole hell of a lot of brouhaha. Could you imagine that happen, let's say, in a Ravens and fucking Steelers game or a Cowboys-Eagles game? Give me a fucking break. There would have been blows thrown. There would have been fucking chaos and anarchy on the sidelines. Instead, the Bears were like, we don't give a shit. It's not a rivalry game. Even though we pretend it is, it's not a rivalry game. In order for it to be a goddamn rivalry, both sides actually have to occasionally win. But then that second time, you literally see that unnecessary garbage-ass hit by Darnell Savage. Karma caught up with his fucking ass. Good. I hope you enjoyed your concussion, bitch. You're going to say, well, you shouldn't root for somebody to get an injury. No, fuck that. He almost caused one on Justin Fields. I feel no sympathy when Khalil Herbert gave him the fucking kill shot right to the goddamn head. As you would call it in wrestling, the V-trigger, if you will. But that time, offensive line, the offensive players, nothing. That should have been a fucking brawl. Can't be a rivalry if you don't act like it's a rivalry. Can't expect your rookie quarterback to be the type of leader that you need him to be when you don't rally behind him when you fucking should. Make all the excuses you want about this game. Officiating my ass. Play better and it's not a problem. Try to excuse and justify the defense. They still gave up 24 points. Like, that, in theory, against Aaron Rodgers should have been enough. It's not like they played terribly, but at key moments in time, they played bad. Get that through your thick fucking skulls. And you don't pay what you pay for that defense to have them give up 24 points and play like that. That is on Ryan Pace. That is on Matt Nagy. That is on Sean Desai. Stop making excuses for that unit. Obviously, ding dong, dumb ditch, we all know the number one problem with this team is offense. Like, there was so much potential and promise early. And then later on, of course, you came back down to reality. That was the epitome of Bears football. Play the Packers twice a year, lose to them twice a year. The Packers did not impress me much at all today, and they still overwhelmed the Bears for all intents and purposes, let's be honest. Like, it was a closer game than it probably really should have been, but it was what it was. But, yeah, the Bears just aren't in that class, and the Packers aren't even an elite team right now. But holy Christ. Like, it's both comforting because it's so familiar and so disconcerting how often Aaron Rodgers is just able to come into Soldier Field and own this fucking team. When you talk about late in the game, he scores the touchdown on the scramble, makes it a 2-score game, and he's yelling at the crowd saying, I still own you. Like, why would anybody get mad about that? Because it's fucking true. Thank you, sir. May we have another? Well, we'll get another in a few weeks, I suppose, huh? Are the McCaskies not bothered by this? This is supposed to be the thing you care about the most. Remember back in 2004 at his introductory press conference when he fed Lovie Smith that bullshit line about number one goal of the program is to beat Green Bay? No, asshole! The number one goal of the program is to win the goddamn Super Bowl. But it would sure be nice to beat those fucking cheeseheads from Wisconsin once or twice every fucking year. 1 in 6 against the Green Bay Packers, yet somehow this is the thing that's supposed to matter the most in the McCaskey family, yet somehow Matt Nagy still has a fucking job. What, are you insisting on keeping him around just long enough so he can totally fuck up Justin Fields? Oh, Cole Kmet caught a few passes today. And that's a reason to do fucking backflips? Like, that's how low the bar in the standard is with this goddamn organization and these stupid fucking Bears fans. And it's all so reassuring. What else was I expecting today? I could see it coming. And deep down, you knew it was coming too.